Okay, welcome back to another video in the C# series. This will be a lab video, so we're going to do coding. So open up your Visual Studio and let's create a new project. Be a console application, and the scenario for the activities that we're going to be doing today are in the presentations videos. So this is the one where we asked you to go off and create a program to introduce yourself, and so let's call this as intro 1, and I've already used that in a previous edition. There we go. I'll go 2_1 for session 2, program 1. There we go. So we've got the makings of our program already there. So the first scenario was to present an introduction using your name, and we'll have a couple of variables called fname and lname for first and last name, and then we have to join those together and output our full name. So let's get rid of the hello world and start from scratch. So what do we know? We have a string, first name, and it'd be right if I could type, and that name shall be I teach. And the next one is going to be lname, and that's going to be Cisco AU, even though this is not a Cisco subject. Alright, so we've got our two primary variables. We need to output it into a single one, so string, I'll just go name or full, doesn't really matter. And this is where we have some fun. So we're going to go fname, and we're going to add it. Now if I just add lname there, again being able to type would be useful. Okay, so I then have to do our console write. Gonna write a line, and in that line I'm going to output name, and then we'll do our usual console read key. Alright, so if we output this, I can tell you I'll get the channel name. There it is. I teach Cisco AU as one word. That's generally not how you present your name. So what I can do is add a little bit of text in there, and then we'll get it split in half with our first and last names displayed with a gap between. Now that's not really a good introduction, is it? So how about we put in a console, and this one we're just going to use a write, and this one will say hello, my name is, put a space, close that off. Now that's more like an introduction, isn't it? Hello, my name is, I teach Cisco AU. There we go. That was the first activity to do while doing the presentation. Now, for clarity, when I record the theory, I'm not going to put in the Visual Studio activities. I'll break them out into these little lab videos so that we can just concentrate on the coding. Now, there was another way that we talked about this, and that was to, rather than put them in together like this, we used a function, a method called Concat, and then we put the variables together, and we don't need these pluses, we just need a comma. And if we again leave the double quotes with a space in the center of it, we should get that separation occurring. So see there, same result, just a different way of getting there. Now, the third way we talked about was with the interpollination of the material. So we actually print out the name like that, but name becomes a bit different. So let's chuck that out, and this is going to be behind the dollar symbol, and then we're going to put the text in. So let's use this text here, whack it in here. So hello, my name is, and what's the variable name? Let's put some braces in and put in fname, and then again in the braces lname, and that way we can dispose of this line because it's no longer needed. And so this is putting together our variables inside a bit of text, and then we're just printing the text. And again, I've done a typo. This is where the color coding of Visual Studio and other dedicated coding applications such as Notepad++ assist in you doing a little bit of fault finding before you run the code, because you would have noticed that this didn't associate and came up with an error, or before we went into debugging, so it's quite useful. So exactly the same output, but 3 variations of how to obtain it. Alright, so that was the first couple of activities in the presentation. Next one was down where we had the if statements. So let's just save that one up. And no, I've got a line selected. Okay. Now that saves, go to new, console application, next. And this one is going to be about if statements. So I'll just create that first. There's our start point. So let's run through the scenario for you. So the program's to be created with a project name if statements with a class name of if stat1. Oh, I got program there. So if stat1. There we go. And we're going to have a couple of variables, A and B. They're going to be number based, so A is 100, B is 20. Program must be commented, and we shall display the values and then which one is bigger. Alright, so what we want to do is get those variables going. So we've got A equals 100, integer B equals 20, and we've got to work out which one's which. So so we want to compare A and B and work out which is bigger. Alright, so let's get rid of all of that just so we have some room. So program name was an if, so that sort of gives that away a little bit. So if A is greater than B, I think I want to do something. What is it that I want to do? I want to do an output, right line, and what am I going to say? I'm going to say A, and what's the text I'm going to put in? Is greater than, and then I'm going to put in variable B. Okay. If that statement's true, that'll happen. If it's false, I want to do an else. And what am I going to do in the else? I'm going to do a console right line, and in this one I'm going to say B is greater than, you know what, I need to put a space in there. And the variable there to close it off is A, the opposite to what we did if it was true. So, and then we'll finish that off with our usual pause. So it's going to be console read key and alright, so this is a value for variable A. This is value for variable B. Work them out. Put some comments in, spit it out, see if it works. 100 is greater than 20. Yep, that's true. But, so that's done the calculations. But did I do all the things? Program shall display the values and display which is big. So, yeah, I've produced an output, but did I produce? Okay, so console right line, and this is going to be between values plus A and plus B, but I want to put a space in there. Values A and B, and add some more text in there. Between values A and B, which is greater? Question mark. Alright, we have a problem. Can you think what they are? So, syntax error with a comma. Line 13. Class between values A B, which is greater. Unrecognized escape sequence. So A and B. What is going to be greater, I wonder? I want to throw that on. Alright, so it's variable A is plussing and B, and which is greater. Alright. One failed, 0 updated, 0 skipped. So that was the one that it went to. So this is where it's got the problem. Our space in the center. Potential fixes. Introduce constant for alright, there you go. So it doesn't like that. What if we leave it as a space? No. So, right line between that and that equals that. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted. Okay, so between values A if we do it this way, just to get this going, shouldn't try to do things on the fly while recording, should I? Values A, and then we're going to print out, oh no, yes, B. Okay, and then add on top of that space, which is greater, and carriage return there. Instead of right line, I'll just have right there. Look at that. Between values 100 training, which is greater. So, almost there. Forgot to put the space in. Plus B. See if that works. Between values 120, which is greater. So, there we have it. Alright, so as this is approaching 20 minutes, I'll say that was almost a solution for part B. Have a play, get that to come up better than what I did, looks like it didn't like the and in the text. There we go, that way. So between values 100 and 20, which is greater, 100 is greater than 20. That worked much better than trying to stick it all in one line. I mustn't have been holding my tongue correctly when I was doing it before. So, alright. Until the next video, which will go through the other class activities that were listed, which was to do with working out the smallest number, biggest number. Until then, it's bye for now.